And I'm going to start by making a yeast dough. So I want to start with some liquid, and here you could use water, you could use milk. I'm using whey, W-H-E-Y. Now, this is the leftover from the ricotta cheese making process, and you're saying, oh, yeah, sure, I have that in my house all the time. If you're watching Ciao Italia, you can learn how to make ricotta cheese. But I like to keep this when I'm making cheese because it's a great medium for yeast to live and thrive in. So I'm going to put about 3/4 of a cup of this, it's warm, in my food processor. I'm going to add a teaspoon of yeast. Make sure that the whey, the water, the milk, whatever you're using, is warm, about 110 degrees. We want a teaspoon of sugar, just to help that yeast along, and some salt and pepper. And then we want to add some cheese. And here we're using something called grana padano, right here, in this beautiful wedge. You'll recognize it by the logo on the cheese rind. This is a cheese that comes from the Po River Valley. It's a cow's milk cheese. It's a delicious eating cheese, and it's going to be perfect to give the dough a nice flavor in this recipe. So we have about 1/4 cup of the cheese. So that's 2 cups of flour. And before I put the top on that, I want to give this a little extra virgin olive oil, about a tablespoon. That's also going to give great flavor to the dough. Okay, once you have this ball of dough going around the blade, you want to check it and see if it is too sticky or it's too wet. So all you really want to do is disperse the yeast, really, the yeast cells that are in this dough. Cover it. You want to let this rise. I would say a good 1.5 to 2 hours in a not too warm place. The mistake that a lot of people make who work with dough is they put it in a place where it's too warm and then the dough rises too rapidly. You don't want that. 75 degrees is ideal. And I know it's ready when I can just put my fingers in the dough and those indentations stay there. They don't go anywhere. So this dough is not going to resist me when I go to roll it out. So you can make a couple dozen rolls out of this dough. So I'm going to cut it in half. So using a bench knife, this is a bench knife for those of you who want to get serious about baking, and we'll put 1/2 aside and work with this one. And you can see how pretty it looks with the pepper in that dough. Now what are we going to fill this with? These are going to be panini or rolls. And you can use your imagination as to what kind of fillings you want to use with it. Prosciutto di San Daniele. So we're going to take some of that. And when you buy it, you want to make sure that you buy it thinly sliced like this. Have them slice it right in front of you. And then have them put it between sheets of paper so that it doesn't all stick together. So let's move that out of the way and put on, how about some salame? And by the way, it's salame in Italian, not salami. So we put on some salame, thin slices. And then we have the montasio. Here it is, diced up. It's a wonderful melting cheese as well as an eating cheese. And this is a PDO product of Italy, of Friuli. PDO means protected denomination of origin. In other words, it can only be made in Friuli. And then we want some egg. Here I have some chopped egg, chopped hard-boiled egg. You didn't want to put this on, you could put olives. But I like the egg with this. Now, this isn't just your everyday cracker and cheese kind of snack, you have to admit. So a little egg goes on. And the Italians call these types of foods merende, or snacks. They might have it in the middle of the afternoon with a glass of wine. Here are some sun-dried tomatoes. Sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil. You can buy these in a store. You can make your own. If you go on the Ciao Italia website, you can find out how to do that. Isn't that pretty? Looks beautiful. Now that we have this, we want to roll this up, just like you're making a jelly roll. So roll the dough, closing the edges, up on itself. Okay, just like that. And keep the seam side down. Really pinch that closed. So I'm going to brush it with a little bit of egg wash first. Just give it a little egg wash. You could do this after you cut them if you want. Your oven is on at 375 degrees, but you don't want to bake them until you allow these to rise for about 30 minutes or so.